Hello and welcome to GT Sports Mates. If this is your first time with us, welcome, and if it's not your first time, welcome back. Good to see you all again. So we're going to be looking at the daily races. There's 3 to choose from, 2 GR4s and 1 GR3. We're going to start at the beginning. Daily race A, Tokyo Expressway South Outer Loop. Now, here's the 4 cars you can choose from. All very different. So what we're going to do, we're going to check the qualifying times of the top 10. Right, so it seems to be that the RCZ, the Peugeot, is the car for the track. Everyone's setting times in the 138s roughly. So what are we going to do? Are we going to go with the Peugeot? No, we're not. We're going to challenge that and we're going to try it in the Audi, in the TT. How will this go? I have no idea. So we're going to try it anyway, and you might notice actually just to the right of the screen that says my record 140.7. So let me tell you what happened there. I came on and I decided to get into the qualifying, chose the Audi, and then I set that time. Was that the best time I could have set? I don't know, and I probably won't know because something happened. It was either the server went down or something happened. Basically, set that time, and then the screen went blank. And I end up back at the very beginning, back at the main menu. Not a clue what happened, but luckily it did save that time. So we've got something to aim for anyway. Right, so we've just come out the first section and we're coming down now to the hairpin. Now let me talk to you about the car a little bit as we're going to come around the hairpin. How does the car feel? And I think the only way I can describe this is heavy. It's very heavy in the corners. Now, not so much of an issue from this point forward, as this is completely flat out. So no real corners to deal with. A couple of bends, but nothing major. It's completely flat out. But the very beginning of the track, the first section, all corners, S-bends, very, very quick. Now, the Audi felt heavy. It felt a little bit clumsy, if you will. Through that section. Now I'm wondering, will the top speed of the Audi be faster than the other 3 cars? And maybe its low point is its handling. Like I said, not great in the corners. You do get a little bit of understeer. So I wonder if that's why the Peugeot is probably a bit better, because there are some very tight corners on this, some very long, fast corners that maybe the Audi struggles with. But we'll see. As we're going to cross the line here, and we're going to go across in 141.4, so not my fastest time. Not my fastest time, but luckily the game actually saves your fastest time, and that's the one you go into the race with. So we're going to go in with the 140.7 that I previously set. We're going to see it, we're going to be there in 9th place. 9th place, so basically at the bottom there's only 12 cars. If this was 20 cars, that would be great, because I'd be just in the top 10, wouldn't even be halfway down, but there's only 12, so I'm quite low at the very back of the grid. Now, there's a few different cars here, as you can see, the Megane just to the right of us, you can see the RCZ in front of that, and a few Audis. So it's a good mixture of cars. Not everybody has gone for the RCZ, it's a good mixture. So that normally means you're going to get a good race, because you're going to have the straight line speed of, say, the Audis, with then the handling capabilities of the Megane and the RCZ, and I think there was a Scirocco you could choose, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, coming through the first sector now, we're in 9th, going through the S-bends. The car's feeling a little heavy still, like I said. Obviously it's not going to change, it's the same car. But we're not losing any speed through here. As you can see, everyone's still kind of bunched up. No one can really break away at the minute. So I'm going to go for a move down into the hairpin. I've got the inside line. Kind of get a move done. No, I can't. Out of absolutely nowhere. 2 people actually there in the RCZ, one pushing me wide, and then another one, the German 96, just shunts me to the side as well. So a bit of aggressive driving there from the two Peugeots, but at least we've not been slapped with a big penalty, which, believe me, on this track you are going to get slapped with penalties, especially when you come across drivers who just don't care. You really don't. So I actually did a race. It was a daily race a few weeks ago. Can't remember where it was. and it was basically just a case of who can get the highest penalty. That was all they were interested in. They're just absolutely ridiculous, which isn't good actually if you're trying to get your driver rating up. As I just got shunted from the back again. People, they just, and again the German just, I don't think he could help that, but it's just annoying. You know, you're trying to race clean, you're trying to do good times, and people just, they don't really care, and that affects your driver rating and your sportsmanship rating. And mine got absolutely destroyed because of it, and it takes a long time to get back up. Anyway, enough of that. First lap done. We're still in. Actually, we're in 8th. We've gone up 1 position. We are currently in 8th place, but we're going to lose that now to the German, who's kind of gone wide. But you can see the Peugeot seems to be a lot quicker through it. Well, there you go. There you go. So getting battered around and either get a penalty for being pushed around and then somebody driving into the back of me. I get the penalty for that. The penalty system on this game, I think everyone could agree, needs some work doing to it. But anyway, we're going to go down the inside now. We're going to hopefully get a good exit. We do have a penalty we have to serve just ahead. But as you can see, just ahead of us, there's a lot of cars with penalties there. We don't know what speed. And again, look behind, just penalties everywhere. Everyone's got a penalty. It's not what you want. But luckily we only had a 1 second penalty, so we're going to carry on here. We're going to take 8th place back on the second lap as we're coming down the long. Well, it's not a straight, is it really? It's got a few bends, but in essence, yeah, it's flat out, so we'll call it a straight. So, coming up to this corner now, we've got the English guy on the left, Pillage for 20, okay? He's looking to go around the outside. He's not going to make it. I'm going to go across the front to him to take that space. I don't want to do anything too bad. I don't want to be pushing anybody out the way. I don't want to get another penalty. Trying to drive as clean as I possibly can and get that sportsmanship rating up, get into the better lobbies. That's the goal. Coming round now onto the home straight, that's a flat out corner. You have to be very careful because you can run a little bit wide, as it looks like the guy ahead of us has just done. You can run slightly wide, hit the wall, and you will get a penalty. So you've got to be very careful with that line through though. You can take it flat out. You just got to get perfect. Now I don't want to be battling through this section, as I said. Don't want a penalty, and the game just decides to dish them out when it wants to. So I don't want to be fighting for it. I'm going to use the guy who was in 9th, now in 8th, he overtook me, but I'm going to use him and get in his slipstream, and hopefully between us we're going to catch up to the pack ahead, who, like I said, the guy ahead in, what, he's 7th now, does have a penalty, and we're going to try and use that to our advantage. Now I've gone to the right there to go through the hairpin, run a little bit deep, Pillage taking back 8th, and drop back down to 9th, right where we started at the beginning, back in 9th. But it looks like we're going to be able to take a position here as the guy in front takes a penalty. I'm going to use Pillage, I'm going to use a slipstream, going through the ghost of the guy in 6th. Now that was maybe not the best idea. He could have unghosted, I could have gone straight into the back of him and ended up with a massive penalty, but I was so determined to keep in that slipstream I wasn't really paying too much attention to the guy in front. Anyway, up to 7th now as we come around a very difficult right hand turn. Bit of a tricky one there. Gearing wise, 3rd, 4th, it's hard to say. You don't want to be going too slow because it is a fast corner, but obviously you don't want to go too fast because you will very easily slide out and go into the wall. Like again, the guy in front of us just doing now, that's twice in 2 laps someone's gone around the last bend and not got the line perfectly right and end up going into the barrier. Luckily we've not done that. Very much so, because obviously you can see how close this race is. Now I'm going to try and defend here around these S-bends. I don't want to be fighting, but I have to defend. I don't want to lose any more position, but I need to speed up a little bit here because I need to catch the guy in front. I want to use his penalty to my advantage. Whilst he's taking that penalty, I want to grab that position if I can get close enough to do so, but I obviously don't want to be losing any places should I say, not spaces, places from the guys behind. Running a little bit deep at the hairpin, luckily just getting enough traction, stay ahead of, well, there he is again, Hillage again, very good, he's all over me. I'm defending like crazy right now from him, but there we go. 6 has took his penalty. I'm going to take that position on the last lap, coming down the straight now, and Hillage give me a bit of a bump draft. Now bump drafts are good you know, it can help. It gives you a little bit of boost, as you saw there, but it can also be very dangerous. You could get a penalty from it, or you could knock somebody into the wall, or you could knock the wall as well. Now, I don't know what to do. I've got to defend two people, one going either side. I knew somebody was going to go through. I didn't want to get a penalty by just slamming them in. I had to kind of give that up, hoping that somebody makes a mistake. As the Italian, tries to go down the inside through one of the worst chicanes probably on the game. Then curbs are massive, absolutely massive. You don't want to be trying to overtake them. Anyway, so here we go, last lap, in 7th. We started in 9th. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to him before we cross the line. In fact, no, we're not. We're going to stop there in 7th place. Good run, good race, and you can see as well behind just how close it was for 8th position. Good race. Lots of penalties, not the kind of race you want. Luckily, we only ended up with the one penalty, but that wasn't even our fault. Anyway, so there we go. Finishing in 7th, starting in 9th, up 2 positions. Are we happy with that? No, we're going to do it again. And this time, we are going to try the Peugeot. I want to see what the difference is. Now, you can see to the right, I've set a few lap times. I did get a decent qualifying time in. Not qualifying time, so I did get a decent amount of qualifying in, that's what I want to say, for the Peugeot. But again, learning the new car on the track, you kind of want to almost drive it the exact same way as the other car, but this car, I will say from the get-go, from here, so much better in the corners, so light. You turn the wheel and that car goes. The Audi, like I said, very heavy. So let's see how we can get on with the Peugeot as we drop down now towards the hairpin. How will it handle the hairpin? The Audi a few times went a bit wide, and there actually it turns in so well. I actually hit the wall a little bit on the right side. Anyway, back on the straight now, and you can see we're currently good for time. We're actually higher than we already was. We're looking at setting a new PB right here on the 7th lap. I did jump to the 7th lap, as you probably noticed, because no one wants to sit here and watch just lap after lap after lap qualifying. So I figured I'd just put on the best lap that I did, which just so happens to be this lap coming up to the end of the qualifying time. As you can see, there was really only time for one more lap after this. But like I said, no one who wants to watch lap after lap after lap qualifying. Anyway, coming down now into the really tricky chicane. You do not want to hit them curves. Like I said in the last race, don't want to be hitting them curves. They will send you flying. They really will. Anyway, we managed to get through it alright, and we're back onto the home straight now after the long right-hander. Looking at setting a new PB. Let's see what we can do. 140.5 to beat. There we go, 140.2. So it does seem that the Peugeot is the better car. Yes, there's a long, straight-ish section of the track, but the Peugeot's so good at the handling section that it actually is the best car. And there we go. In qualifying, P2. The best qualifying for this track that I've done. Obviously in the TT it was way down in 9th, and that just shows you how good this Peugeot actually is on this track. Now we've set off, and straight away you can see I've already lost position. That was a terrible start from me. I will hold my hands up. That was absolutely shocking. But we don't want to be losing any more position, and we don't want to be getting a penalty. So we're going to try and do this as cleanly as possible. Now, obviously, I can drive as cleanly as I can possibly drive. Does that mean other people will? Absolutely not. So we're going to have to be very careful that nobody comes and shunts us from behind or pushes into the walls. We're going to have to just be very aware of the surroundings. I don't want to throw away. It's a great opportunity. Like I said, P2, excellent positioning to start from. Obviously, P1's better, but P2 is the best I could do. So I don't want to throw that away. Anyway, this track, I've not really talked about it all that much. So a little bit of the info as we're driving down the straights, along the straights, we've got some time. It's a fictional track. It's been made for the game. Now it has 17 turns, and it's 5.2 kilometers long, about 3.2 miles if you're over this side of the pond with myself. Big track, basically. It's a good size track, and it's quite a fast track, as you've seen. Lots of very fast straights, and the corners as well, still very fast. So now we've come around the chicane, and what I don't want to do is what the guys in first and second do, which is battling. They're actually losing speed and losing time. I'm biding my time here. Don't want to go for the pass. They seem to be battling quite severely, and I don't want to risk going for the move and then getting smashed out of the way. Don't want to do that. I'm going to bide my time. I'm going to look for the perfect time to overtake. Now, it just so happens that going round 2 abreast through these corners in the Peugeot, as we're just going to get pushed out wide there, and because of that, look at that. I didn't do anything. I was trying to just run the line. The guy comes along, pushing me sideways. Nothing I can do about that. And I'm gone down from now 3rd to 6th in one corner. One corner because somebody just decides to use me as their brakes. As, here we go again, somebody else decides to do. They've got brakes, but let's not use them, let's use the other guys. And that's exactly what they decided to do. So now we're back in 7th. Second lap, starting in 7th. I may as well be in the Audi at this point. But let's just hope we can climb a few gaps. Now you can see, not gap, climb a few places. That's what I want to say, but I was going to say, you could see the gap then between 7th and 8th. Couldn't even see 8th and 9th place. They were so far back. So really, I can't really finish much worse than 7th if this all goes pear-shaped. But that's not what we want to do. We want to see how high we can finish. As we just almost go into the side of the Spanish guy there. Luckily he ghosted. And he gives me a bit of a nudge coming into the chicane over the bump. Luckily I did slow down enough not to send myself flying off the track. But the Spanish guy here on the left, you can see just pushing, really being aggressive. He's got a penalty, so he's being too aggressive actually. We're lucky we've not got one there, but he's pushing hard, so I'm kind of a bit concerned now what he's going to try. But we've gone up, as you can see, we're now in 3rd place. We actually made up 4 places through that chicane. What can we do from this point? Now the guy in 2nd, as you can see, he's got a penalty. So all I've got to do is get in range of him to take advantage of that penalty. I'm going to let that penalty do all the work for me. I'm not going to attack him in the corners. I'm not going to go for a stupid lunge in the hairpin. I'm going to let that penalty do the work for me. As long as I don't do something stupid, like I am doing. Look at that, straight away. I say it as I do it. Completely overcooked that corner, got the braking zone all wrong, and I've dropped down a position. But luckily, the Spaniard, who was a little bit aggressive, he's got the penalty. He's going to have to serve that now. I'm going to get that position back, and hopefully I'm going to be able to catch him in 2nd, grab that position too. But he's the guy in 2nd now. He just served his penalty, and yes, not fast enough to defend. I'm going to take P2 from him right now on the 3rd lap. 1 lap to go. Now there is a big gap between me and the guy in 1st. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch him unless he does something major, which, let's face it, that can happen. I've seen it plenty of times. Someone's been, a good even 10 seconds ahead than the rest of the pack, and then all of a sudden they've been overtaken. They've made an error. They've pushed too hard and they didn't need to, and it's cost them. That's all I can hope that the guy in front does. Is he going to do that? I'm not sure. But what I have to be careful of is myself. I don't want to do that. There is a gap now between 2nd and 3rd. As you can see there, that's quite a good gap. I'm feeling comfortable. Now they're battling back there. 3rd and 4th are battling. So that's going to slow them down a little bit in the corners. I can optimise my speed through the corners a lot better now there's no one near me. But I also have to be careful. I don't want to get a penalty by hitting the barriers. I don't want to end up spinning the car around as well, because that can very much happen. You can hit the barrier and then do a complete 180 turn facing the wrong way. Going purple there, as you can see through the section, I'm pushing a lot harder now than I was the first couple of laps. Trying to just catch up a bit, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I also want to get away from the guys in 3rd in case anything does happen, and then they won't be able to catch up. So here we are now. Final lap on the home straight. Well, not technically the home straight, there is a couple of corners to go, but basically this is the last straight of the entire race that we're going to be going down. It's a long straight, not much to really report on. But the car, what can I say about the car? The last lap, let's summarise the car. Is it better than the Audi? I would say yes, and it's not just because it's quicker. I actually think the Peugeot is better than the Audi full stop. It's not got much of a top end compared to the Audi, but it's so good in the corners and it feels so light, nimble. It gives you the confidence to really chuck it around. With the Audi, it just doesn't. It feels heavy, it feels clumsy. So I actually prefer the RCZ over the Audi, and I didn't think I was going to say that, but there we go. I prefer it. Let me know if you've tried this race, or if not this race, these cars. Let me know what you think. Is Peugeot better than the Audi? So anyway, there we go, finishing off in second. Now we started in second, finished in second, so we didn't gain anything, but we also didn't lose. That's the important part for me anyway. I've not lost any places. So that's the daily race done. Gladly, I don't want to be doing that anymore. That daily race, I did a few of them and my rating got demolished because of other people. I don't want to do that one anymore. So luckily, it's done. I'm happy with a second. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you all next time for the next races.